Don't talk like you're one of them. You're not, even if you'd like to be. To them, you're just a freak, like me. Here's your look at the new Mattel DC Multiverse. This is the Heath Ledger Joker. The Clown Prince of Crime gets his long-awaited DC Multiverse figure. How does it stack up? Stay tuned and find out. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get this review started by first figuring out how tall Heath Ledger's Joker stands. Now, I'm a Canadian guy myself, and unfortunately these weren't available in stores, so I had to order these online. Doesn't that really suck? That sucks a lot. Needless to say, according to the Ultra Measure-Tron 5000, you're a very passionate guy today, my friend. 6.6, I yell out to the mob. That's how tall the Heath Ledger Joker stands, to which also I can switch that out to the Canadian members of the mob. 16.8 centimeters tall. Yeah, that sucks a lot. Anyways. To come included with the Joker, let's stay back on target here. He does come with the same multiverse stand that characters like Val Kilmer's Batman has come included with. The John Wesley ship Flash, for example. And even though I have not yet picked it up yet, the Linda Carter Wonder Woman also, I think, came with the same display stand. You have Joker featured on the front, and I don't think anything else really changes to it. It's a placement of 6 individual holes in which you can take the supplied peg and you can peg that into place. Now, don't worry, there are more of these. But that's basically what you get for a display stand. Doesn't look too bad. It kind of looks a little busy on the top, I have to admit. But from the front, yeah, you don't see it too much. The bottom section is neat because you can open this up. You just kind of get your fingers in there. Yeah, you get your fingers in there. There we go. I have no nails to speak of. You can open that up, and you can also store your stuff in there. That's a good idea. Put your accessories in there. You can put your extra pegs in there, and then that just closes up shop just like that. To also come included with Joker, you get yourself a pretty neat looking image, one of those press images for marketing. Heath Ledger right there, standing pretty cool. That's a neat looking Joker. I always loved Heath Ledger's Joker. Down below we've got a banding of gold and Multiverse also in gold. And then on the back you've also got Multiverse on the back. So at least it's finished. It doesn't just look like a big old sheet of plain cardboard. By the way, while I was doing that, talking about cardboard, I also snuck this by you. Maybe to the astute viewers you might have saw that. There's a little groove right here. And you just line that up and just slide that into place. And you got yourself instant showcase display stand. Going for a dramatic pause. And then, of course, you can put the figure on top of that in the various different peg holes. On the camera, there we go. In the various different peg holes located, like I said, on the top. 6 different places that you can put them. And he does have the supplied peg holes on the undersides of his feet. So I'm going to bring this back a bit. I just feel like that's a little too close. The other thing that the figure comes included with stand-wise, because he also comes with some accessories too. He comes with additional gold pegs. And there is actually 6 pegs for 6 holes. I don't think you would need that many on the stand at one given time, but if you decide, I guess if you lose extras, you lose them, you have extras. And then, again, they can go on the bottom. Also, to come included with the figure, you get yourself a curved stand, which I think it's not really necessary for specifically the Joker, but it's there if you want it. That attaches to the top, just like so. Kind of rubs really too close for comfort to the cardboard backing on the back. It's almost like they didn't even think, oh, maybe that's a little too close. Maybe that, yeah, maybe that's a little too close. But it is there, and this also detaches. You can also take one of the pegs. Did you know this? You could take one of those pegs and fit that there, and you can have Joker in a smaller standing jump. It's a little ridiculous, I find, to even incorporate something like this with the Joker, but it seems like they come with all of the figures, so, I mean, it's there if you want it. What is also there, whether you want it or not, is a big noticeable hole on Joker's back. This is specifically for this And again, if you want to just take the peg out, you can then put the stand, the curved stand in place. And there, wow, you can have Joker hanging, just hanging around, just hanging around. I guess if you got creative enough, I'm going to go ahead and take him off. There we go. It's stubborn to say the least. There we go. I suppose you could have Joker leaping, you know, for Batman. You could kind of have him leaping. I mean, it kind of, again, Joker's not a real, hey, I'm jumping in the air. I mean, he was moving around quite a bit in the movie, but I don't know. This does seem a little awkward, I have to admit. It just looks silly, in all honesty. Again, the solution, the workaround to that is you can detach, take this off, get that off. You can take this, take that off, and you can put a peg right there as well, if you wanted to. Now, unlike Joker, I'm just going to put these to the side. Unlike Joker, who now has this big noticeable hole in his back. Oh, that's so sad. At least, at the very least, you can cover up this big slot by this included little peg hole, or this little fill-in section, and that just slots into the back like that. Just kind of finishes up, closes up shop, and certainly expecting, if you have expected company coming over, you want to clean up the place a little bit. That cleans it up rather nicely. And then if you wanted to, you go ahead and just take this off once again. If you can't get it out, this way, just take off the cover, pop this through with your fingers, and it comes out rather easy. Wow, it almost seems like you know what you're doing. And there's the display stand. There is the supplied card. And you've got yourself, like I said, a little showpiece. At the very least, I think when it comes down to it and displaying the figure, I'm probably going to obviously make use of the fact that he does come with the stand. I mean, why not? I mean, that's a decent enough looking stand. And it also keeps all the figures from this multiverse line consistent with one another, certainly for the movie and the television characters that seem to have the unique stands that the other multiverse figures don't have. Now, before we get to the figure itself, let's have a look at the accessories that come included with the Joker. For starters, he comes with several different firearms. This is the Smith & Wesson M76. Primarily, you'll remember this in the film when he had post-truck flips. I believe he's shooting this at the Bat Pod and yelling, of course, at Batman, "Hit me." Now, this doesn't have this doesn't swing out. It's fully molded in place, but I guess it's decent enough. You can fit it into Joker's hand, and it does involve a little bit of prying open. One of the hands you'll see specifically is kind of designed for holding the knife, so if you are looking to take the M76, you just kind of pry the Joker's fingers away, and you'll bend his thumb off. You'll bend his thumb in the process, but just perseverance, all about perseverance. And then you can put the firearm into his hand. It is made up of a soft plastic. You specifically see it more so in the barrel here, that it does have a very, very soft plastic feel. I mean, you could imagine it would warp considerably fast if you're not careful. The other accessory, the other weapon he comes included with is his very trusty, converted to full auto Glock 17. It is a two-toned pistol, very predominantly showing China there on the handle, and it does also have a removable clip. I was actually surprised that it did have a removable clip of all things to it, because I figured, if anything, why would Mattel simply not just mold this whole thing in one mold and not have something that would be removable? So I'm actually rather surprised that the Glock 17 does come with the removable clip. That's a good job. Good, fantastic work there. I guess it's not really so much a clip, it's a magazine. Anyways, so that is his two weapons, certainly that fired the bang-bangs. And then he also does have a smaller knife. Now, this does look like the retractable knife, also showing China there on the handle. But this is primarily for in this hand here. You can really clearly see right there that this hand is designed for the knife. Even when you put it in there, it's like it was just meant to be. It's just, you knew when they first locked eyes, the Joker and the knife here, it's just meant to be. So I think when it comes to displaying the figure, likelihood of the way I'm going to be doing it, at least, is put the Smith & Wesson 76 in his hand, and I'll probably put the knife in his other hand. Just something, because, you know, after all, some people would debate the fact you really don't, the character would not have necessarily both accessories in their hands, but I balk the system. So those are his accessories. I don't say on a disappointment level, all the weapons, all the you know, the weapons of mass destruction seem to fare well for how they look. Kind of wish, unfortunately, Joker I could say the same about. Rather, if I could quote a line from Joker himself. If somebody was to ask me, does this look like Joker, I would reply with half. In fact, actually, I would say all the figure comes together rather nicely, except for one thing. One glaring problem with the figure I have is actually his head. Now, we'll get a close look at the head, and we'll bring the camera in a little bit. There we go, there we go, there we go. Having a look at Joker's head, I will say I don't think it looks at all like Heath Ledger. Now, the rest of the body is good, but there's something so unsettlingly off about his face sculpt. I gotta ask myself, what exactly were they sculpting? Could it be maybe that they just couldn't acquire the licensing for Heath Ledger, so they had to simply kind of work around giving us as best they could? But in all honesty, I don't think it looks at all like him. This would be, if we were to jump back into our time machine, the time traveler would be able to, hey, time jumper, thank you for tuning in once again. Time jumper could tell us, if you could time jump back to the past and grab a, say, a Dark Knight figure from back then, I almost feel like the head sculpts, this is kind of what you would be expecting back in the day. You certainly would not be expecting it now. Normally, I'd like, if my best efforts can be made, to try to turn the figure around and tell you guys which side, which angle looks the most like the character, like the actor. And I guess the only one I've got is this one right here, a side profile. Either side, I guess, well, I think this side kind of actually looks a little bit more like Heath Ledger than this side here. But most definitely, I would hope the mob has a resounding agreeing to saying yes. I don't think that looks anything like Heath Ledger. The face, I can see that they've done their best to try applying the makeup in the same fashion that he would have applied his makeup on in the film. I mean, there's a certain way that you can see that they've almost dry brushed the white over top of the flesh tone, so it kind of looks like he would have applied that. I mean, also, slightly a bit of a greasier makeup around his eyes, kind of like he has in the film. And then he's got his smile, which looks to be, it does look like they've actually sculpted the face and then painted over top of that. So there is some credit there. But honestly speaking, come on, guys. I don't think that looks anything like him. Again, maybe from here. Right there. Thumbnail, snapshot right there. But everything else, I don't think it looks like him in all honesty. The thing about it, too, is if we bring in the display stand once again, I mean, there's an example right there. It still continues to just dumbfound me. Whenever you look at these figures and then you look at the artwork that comes included with it, they obviously take the time to grab this image and include it along with the figure. I mean, if you look at the two, I don't see it. I don't see it. And I don't also see why they couldn't have just added a little bit more of a messier hair. Maybe plastic would be the issue, that the mold, you would have probably the little excess amounts of plastic around where the curls would stick out from his head. But yeah, it's rough. It's a bit rough. I'm gonna put that to the side. I guess you could easily say, well, this is a retail released figure. What kind of level of expectation should you have? But again, if you compare it to, say, the likes of companies like NECA Toys, it's almost a laughable head sculpt for really where we are right now. Time Jumper would say it gets progressively worse as it gets further on in the years. You complain now. You check out 2026, the ill-fated, doomed period for toy collecting. Nothing looked like anything. Okay, so I don't have that to work from. As for the rest of the figure, I mean, he's not terrible. He has all the cues. If I was to check off things about the figure that work well, I think the rest of the body works decently enough. I will say his vest is a little too dark of an olive. They probably could have brought that up a little bit, a couple of shades lighter. At the very least, they've sculpted in the pinstripes to his pants. The boots are decent, the shoes are decent enough. And normally I would cry foul for the fact that they clearly are just using the plastic for the hinge on the ankle, but it kind of gives you the illusion that it looks like his socks, his thacks. So I could chalk that up to not a failed attempt right there. Even though they're slightly shinier, obviously, than the painted surfaces, at the very least it does look like he's wearing socks. So good job. Good job. Now, you could take the jacket off, in theory, and it doesn't look like it's attached to really... it could be pegged to the back there, probably pegged right there. But even if you took it off, it's still the problem that it has all the time. The sleeves would still be the jacket sleeves. There's what it looks like on the back of the figure. Yeah, a big noticeable hole. You can almost use him as a periscope, I suppose. Yeah, so it's a shame that he doesn't have to have a big noticeable hole on the back. I mean, for a figure that really isn't going to be leaping and bounding up in the air anyways, I don't understand why he has to have a big noticeable peg on the back, but they have to make it available if a collector decides he wants to have Joker jumping up in the air. Why not? I mean, I guess if we, the collector community, eventually gets ourselves a Bale Batman, I can only imagine what that's going to look like as a multiverse figure. Maybe you could pretend that Batman is holding up the Joker, and then you could use this supported strut on the back there to kind of look like Batman's using his own strength to hold up Mr. J. Let's have a look at this guy's posability. Wrap things up. His head rotates all the way around. It does awkwardly wrap things all the way around. I guess actually even if you do like a slight, okay, that might be a little too awkward, slight angle on Joker's head. Maybe I don't know, maybe I'll display him like that. But his head hinges up and down, kind of angles slightly left and right, and you've already seen it rotates all the way around. The arms also rotate all the way around. They hinge outward. That's actually on both arms, by the way. It's funny how arms work in pairs. I joke about that, but then there's companies that also pre-mold and pre-sculpt their arms that one only works one way, one only works the other way. I'm looking at you, McFarlane. The biceps rotate all the way around. Sometimes, though, while you are doing that, the shoulders will rotate all the way around. He does a double hinge on the elbows. So if he wants to cry for how bad his figure is. There. It's okay. Let's stop with the silliness. His hands rotate all the way around. There we go. And hinges also back and forth. Upper torso, not kind of a crunch. It's a very stiff, stubborn crunch. He has a waist swivel. His legs split out. They go forward, they go back, they have a mid-cut swivel on the thigh, double hinge on the knee, and a hinge in the foot. A little bit of an ankle rocker as well. The whole time I've been talking away, because I can multitask, you know, I've been kind of thinking to myself, how could I display this figure to get the most bang out of my buck? Look like I'd be asking myself the question every time I walk into the room, every time I look up, every time I look across the shelf and I see Heath Ledger's Joker from Multiverse. How would I best display the figure in a way that I wouldn't be crying myself, thinking, oh my god, that doesn't look anything like him? I think ultimately I'm going to settle on this. Displaying the head slightly on an angle, I think kind of takes a little bit of that sore spot away from the fact it doesn't look like Heath Ledger. I'm happy for the fact that we finally get ourselves like a true multiverse release of Heath Ledger. And I don't know if it comes boiling down to they just couldn't get the likeness, they couldn't get the rights to his likeness, I don't know. But I do find the figure really does struggle. Down here it's okay. Up here though, it's a big hot mess. Judging for the fact that the figure comes with the display stand, it does. It comes with the back cardboard standee, the way it does, and it comes with the accessories, the multitude of accessories. Okay, there's only 3 accessories, as it does. I can't help but feel, I gotta think that Mattel didn't phone in this figure, that they actually sat down and thought out exactly what they want to do to approach a Heath Ledger. And yet, that's the part that disappoints me. After all that, after it's all said and done, and for all the things that they included with the figure, the one thing, unfortunately, it doesn't include is a decent enough head sculpt. I don't think, again, it looks like Heath Ledger. Now, I don't tout myself as being any bit of a figure customizer. I think there is the potential there to take this figure and do something spectacular with it. Maybe I'll spend a little bit of time, a little bit of TLC, and see if maybe I can tweak the head sculpts and improve upon what they've already left as the foundation. The foundation, though, for this figure is a disappointing head sculpt. Having the head angled down currently, I think, takes a little bit away from the sting, but it still doesn't look like Heath Ledger. Now, I have to, again, consider for the fact that this is a mass retail release, just not in Canada. And for the fact that, you know, when you are comparing retail releases like Mattel's, sometimes the head sculpts aren't going to be as bang on as, say, some of the other figures that have come out from the other companies like NECA and McFarlane Toys. See, now I'm praising McFarlane Toys. So really kind of go into this expecting exactly what you would expect from a Multiverse figure. Close, but no cigar. Either way, if you guys have picked this one up for yourself, let me know down below in the comments section what you think of the head sculpt, or if you just haven't picked up the figure and based on this review and this review alone, let me know what you guys think of the Heath Ledger Multiverse figure down below. Speaking of down below, you are new to this channel. That's what somebody says from the back of the audience. I don't think they probably would say, I am new to this channel. They probably would find a subtle way of saying it as they're eating the cafeteria goods that we've laid out on the meeting table here. But if you are new to this channel and haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notification to maximum strength, as certainly more videos are coming the way, and you don't want to be that person that misses out. FYI, kind of revealing my hand early, I also managed to pick up the Penguin, the Danny DeVito Penguin from Batman Returns. Yeah, I also picked that up online and paid a little bit more for it. So a review of the Danny DeVito Penguin from Batman Returns will be probably coming up in the real immediate future. Time Jumper will probably already tell you exactly when that's going to happen. That's okay. It's inevitable. So even if I would hope that Time Jumper brings us positive news as well, and not just spoiling when this video content creator is posting his next video. Hello, Time Jumper. It's nice to see you again. Either way, guys, more videos, guys, will be coming your way. Like I said, the review of Danny DeVito's Penguin right around the corner. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.